Okay, so we've got three invited readers tonight, which is slightly different to usual. The format we're going to go with is we'll have two of them in the first half with an open mic slot in between, and then we'll have some more open mics in the second half and the final invited reader, so I'll reserve them intervals and some things because that's really important. So we'll go straight into our first invited reader, who is Jen Calleja. Jen is a writer, literary translator from German, editor, thank you, columnist and musician. Her first collection of poetry, Serious Justice, was published by Test Centre this year. Please welcome Jen.
Thank you for asking me to come this evening. I'm going to read from Serious Justice. This is what it looks like. It's really beautiful. I'm very proud to have it. I haven't really selected what I'm going to read. I like doing it by feeling. So I'll start from the beginning. List of power stations. I wake at 5:30 in Watt, California and take a 20-minute shower immediately. 12 minutes for the shower, 8 minutes for other activity. I hate to sweat in my fresh shirt before I've left home. Previously I thought I can hold on and complete dressing, wet and comb my hair, only to discover, leaning over to tie my shoes with extreme difficulty, that I must stay a while longer. Most of my colleagues understand my build-up routine: rumination, notation, ejaculation, meditation. I speak late in the morning at the lectern, clearly, full of hope. I have to sit down after a few minutes and they provide me with a chair. I cross my legs and stare straight forward. After lunch, I take one-on-ones with the student body. These are done in 15-minute spurts, leaving the door open for reassurance that I'll be doing nothing rhythmic save sharpening my pencil. It's better in meetings with faculty, who silently allow me to tick-tock in my underwear. By the time I'm home, I am exhausted, sticky all over. I wash while my wife sets the table for dinner. To warm her to my presence, we sit side by side, shoulders and knees softly rubbing, then straight to bed. I cup her face, look only at her eyes, nod and smile, while I quietly pray that I'll fall straight to sleep around her, so she knows how I feel when I'm only warm and not hot. My parents thought that sending me to the Scouts would really harden me up as a child, and that it was thoroughly traumatic, I would say. So this is partially about a specific camping trip. It's called On Site. Misjudging my weight from a brief eye-up, the anaesthetist presents me with an impeccably terrible level, setting me paralysed but able to feel my eyelid being split open. Screens hover above me, relaying the performance of a cataract op next door, the scrape of the spatula, the bite of staples, 6 fingers pushing my eyeball into the socket to check if the wound would bleed. Nurse sings along to the radio until I squeeze her hand. We had only just met and look what they've done. Just like the 3 boys who dared the only girl to run towards the wide mossy tree, then propelled a stick or rock or paving brick to chase after her grinning skull. Knocked out momentarily, a patch of her head scalped, she waited till dark to show someone and ask, "Will I die in the night?" I didn't want to talk about Brexit so much, but a few years ago I witnessed my first EDL march in Brighton. And yeah, it was frightening. So I wrote 2 poems about it quite a long time ago, and they seem quite fitting now, so I'd quite like to read them. This is called Thank You for Choosing to Reside With Us. The gloved hands of riot police pass out cappuccinos to the marchers, shaking their heads at protesters telling us not to be so mean. To these men who've tried to drink all the beer in sunshine Britain, you can be a beach or a fairy tale, but don't come looking for us. there's nothing to see or be here. And this is called Them, Their Children, Their Children's Children. Nostalgia is a disease and a death sentence. I hate to break this to you, but we're already here. What remains does so because it lives on in the living. What's retained does so because it lives on in living memory. Let's hear it for the hybrids, magic amalgams like me. My nickname was once Hobus, best of both. I was once waiting on a platform at London Bridge and I saw a man struggling with a vending machine. He was trying to buy a bottle of water. It was a really hot day, so I did something quite out of character and I went up to him and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Oh, I just need 10p. So I gave him the money and I said, "I hope you're having a good day. My name's Calleja. What's your name?" And we kind of had a bit of a chat, and then the train came. And I said, "I hope you have a really nice day." And the next day I got an email from him. He found me on the internet. And this email was much longer than this poem, but I turned his email into a poem, and this is the poem. Concerning what I do. To get us started then, I thought I'd list some basic favourites. Music, romantic. The genre doesn't matter to me so long as the worldview is benevolent and the feeling optimistic. Book. How to make a good screenplay great. Writer, Ayn Rand. Type of food, hamburger, medium rare. Concerning what I do, I teach English to foreign students. The job offers me flexibility for my real ambition, movie making. From early next year, I will start applying for private equity for the first, a philosophic thriller called Justice Enterprise. When we met, I was on my way home from training. Briefly, if you've seen Fight Club, you'd have seen a bunch of men with reduced egos. I mentioned this having read your short story FM, which I entirely disagree with. And knowing you are interested in gender, I think we'd have a very interesting discussion. You impressed me because you showed confidence in that you initiated a conversation. Offering to let me change for the bottled water was clearly an excuse. I had a delayed understanding of the interaction because I was exhausted after a hard workout. As you passed by the window, I'm not sure if your expression showed disappointment, offence or embarrassment, but the point is you maintained eye contact, which in that moment I didn't expect. When I approached and then introduced myself to you, a minute or so later further down the platform, you quickly buried a hint of coyness, and we had a brief but meaningful discussion complementing each other's pursuits and activities. I didn't articulate much about myself. I liked that you were concise and direct and pleasant with it. There's a kind of boldness and focus about you which is not reflected in your writing. I wonder why. That was my revenge. And the whole book really is a series of revenges, talking about things that aren't fair. I only really write when I'm angry, so there's a lot about my childhood, about social injustice. And I think recently I've been thinking a lot about what's the point in writing about such things, and in times like this, what good are writers? And you kind of feel very helpless. But for me, personally, it's done a lot for me to be able to write about things like injustice, personal and social. I want to read a poem called No Summer, which is about a lot of people that I care about, that perhaps get forgotten in society. And it's called No Summer. No summer, toffee-skinned, kicking and waving as she swims through rooms rigged like a parachutist to the ceiling, fighting to earth to hold her sister. Forget Jolene, whose otherworldly voice, consoling and exhilarated, wavers out speakers and amplification systems, while she sways her appreciation to a packed-out room, desirous of her confidence. End Anne, who smiles and titters that she must sit under the table, wandering around her house in her best clothes, looking for a way to get to the moon, and soon her new grandson will help her look reassured by her gentleness. Self-destructing Michael would run out into traffic if the front door was left unlocked. He didn't speak till he was 6, and then only road signs. His dependents ruled a certainty at 4, long before his appointment as the university's musical director. Margaret must regret not staying dead. She could have saved us thousands. All her teeth out by 40, adult computer classes, an endless stream of lithium. She wouldn't have had distracted kids who, after work, write poetry. Do I have time for one more?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. I really do enjoy reading. I don't get asked a lot, so. This is called Introduction to John Collins, which is kind of like my alter ego. It started as a joke that stuck. I am now John Collins. In truth, I kind of like it. The fantasy is coming true. A slip of the tongue in a busy kitchen made me John. Collins, if you listen to my school friend's mum, is preferable to pronouncing Calleja. I am haunted by John Collins, a friendly sort of ghost. I welcome him in as I cross the threshold as his host/host. I withhold his transformative powers only momentarily, so suck-dried energy am I that I let him take me over. I think about John sometimes at night, lying in the dark, how he might talk about his latest poems. Never asked if he can hear that clock ticking, not called a clever boy/busy boy. Never asked what nationality he considers himself to be, to catch him out, nor, in everyday life, have his lower back touched by a friend, feel the threat in good morning. But coveted John is always gone by the door. Thank you very much for listening.